All right, welcome to our basketball arena here. We hope you're excited. The Lobos finally going to take on Stanford this morning. This is in St. Louis in the big March Madness basketball tournament.
Yeah, this is happening in just a few hours. Our sports director, Van Tate, is actually with the team.
Forget about nerves with the winner-go-home game this morning. The Lobos appear confident and relaxed as they get ready to battle the Stanford Cardinal. It's the rehearsal before the big show.
It's different. We're playing a different team, different year. We're a different team, so we're just excited to be back.
The 17th ranked Lobos want badly to erase the memory of an NCAA tournament loss to Harvard last season.
I've been waiting all year for this. I've said it before. I wish we could have fast forwarded this whole season and got to this point right now, so we can get that, that Harvard taste out of our mouth.
The agony of defeat brought with it a lesson of learning to focus. Lobos head coach Craig Neal has been there before.
I missed a jump shot to win the ACC tournament that year.
That was some 28 years ago when Neal was a player at Georgia Tech battling against then Duke star Johnny Dawkins, current coach at Stanford.
You learn from your failures. It's one of those experiences that I've learned from, and I've gotten better for it, and it's made me a better coach.
A coach who will face Dawkins again. This time, the two will be drawing up plays, hoping to keep their respective teams alive in the NCAA tournament.
His size and physicality is something that they have, and they've used very well throughout the season. The games I've watched, those guys are able to impose their will in there.
Good bigs and good guard play, and it should be a good challenge for our guys. Are a veteran group and understand the opportunity we have here.
Like their last meeting, this one could be one Neal remembers forever. After all, for the first time, he is coaching his son Cullen in an NCAA tournament.
One of my goals is I always wanted to coach my son in the NCAA tournament, and I reached one of those. And also I wanted him to be a part of a championship team, and we did that. So it's been very special. It hasn't been easy.
I've had to learn and overcome certain circumstances, and it's been nice. It's been awesome.
Game time is 11:40 on TBS. Van Tate, KRQE News 13, St. Louis.
Once again, tip-off for the Lobo-Stanford game is at 11:40 this morning. It'll be shown on TBS. Our programming will be a bit different. There will be no noon or 5:30 newscast. All soap operas will continue on Monday.
And first day of March Madness yesterday was madness. It really became an endurance test here for the New Mexico State Aggies. They were battling it out against San Diego State. This was in Spokane, Washington. The Lobos, you remember, beat the Aztecs last weekend for the Mountain West Championship title in the tournament. The Aggies and the Aztecs played each other for the first time this year, and it was a game, to say the least, going into overtime. However, the bad news, the Aggies ended up losing 73-69 in what was the fourth overtime game of the first full day of the NCAA tournament. That was a record. 4 extremely close games again in overtime. Despite all that heart and the grit, 13th seeded Aggies did not lead the game once.
From this morning's Albuquerque Journal, several loud booms could be heard in the Sandia foothills during the recent deadly confrontation between police and an illegal camper who they say was armed with knives.
Threats here.
I'll hunt you down and kill you. That's my personal promise.
The Journal says it reviewed a video of Sunday night's officer-involved shooting and reports and finds it is still not clear how many officers fired shots. The Journal also states it's unclear whether they were shooting live rounds or non-lethal projectiles. According to the paper, officers were shouting at the unidentified man that they were concerned about his safety, and that the man replied by saying, quote, "I'm never concerned about my safety. I'm concerned about yours," end quote. An Albuquerque woman is taking Planet Fitness to court this summer. She claims the popular gym chain would not let her work out while wearing a religious head covering. 27-year-old Terania McDaniels claims that she explained this accommodation prior to joining the club. In 2011, she says she went to the location off of I-40 in Coors, where she claims management told her the head covering violates gym dress code policy.
When she signed up for membership, she explained, I'm a person who's a Muslim, I practice the Muslim faith, I'm going to have to wear a head covering. Is that going to be a problem? And of course it was not a problem.
Planet Fitness's corporate office in New York is quoted in today's Albuquerque Journal saying scarves for religious purposes are allowed. The case goes to trial in August. The ACLU set up its own border patrol or border checkpoint in New Mexico Wednesday, right next to an official border patrol checkpoint.
Yeah, that was the one that's on I-25 between Hatch and Las Cruces. The American Civil Liberties Union says it's heard a lot of stories about racial profiling at border crossings, and the group wants to make sure people traveling through the checkpoint know their rights.
These checkpoints were actually designed as immigration checks, but we've been hearing a lot from the community, people who are just regularly going to work or to school or for a trip or running an errand, that wind up with more questioning, more invasive searches, for example. And so it doesn't quite seem to be that it's serving the purpose of just immigration checks.
The ACLU says there should be more oversight and accountability at the border patrols. The organization plans on monitoring more checkpoints in the future. 5:06, it's something that really all of us complain about from one time to another. Cracked streets all around Albuquerque.
But help apparently is on the way, especially on the west side of town. The city has identified dozens of streets that will get fixed, and now city crews are finalizing the plan. News 13's Samantha McDonald is live at Montano and Coors in Albuquerque with details. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, Elizabeth. Well, the city has a $7 million budget to spend on road maintenance this year, and a large chunk of that money will go towards fixing cracks in the streets, like this big one near Montano and Coors.
Cracked streets caused by shifting sands underneath the road are taking over the west side. Mark Motzko with the Albuquerque Department of Municipal Development says city officials first noticed the problem in 2012, and it's not a small one, especially in the Taylor Ranch area. The cracks in the street are inches wide, horizontal and vertical, and some even have weeds growing from them. One resident stays busy picking them out.
It's just an eyesore. It looks, looks tacky, no offense, but we live in a nice neighborhood. We try to keep it nice and clean.
But he won't have to do that much longer. Starting this summer, when the weather gets warmer, crews will get to work filling the cracks, which shouldn't be too bad since they don't have a very deep base. The dark areas on this map show that area that crews will be working on. We'll post this on KRQE.com.
Once construction begins, residents will not have to worry about roadblocks. They will get a 48-hour notice and a flyer on their door, and they will simply have to move their cars off the street. Back to you.
All right, interesting. Sam, thank you very much. Here's something else that's interesting. The city says that cracks in the streets are not as common on the east side or south side of the city because there's a different type of soil underneath those roads. As always, you can call 311 to report any road damage.